Have you ever wondered where a brilliant idea really comes from? Is it this sudden magical flash of insight? Or is it the result of just, slow, careful, methodical work? Well, today we're going to get into exactly that. We're diving into a really cool paper that connects the psychology of how we think with the creative process of design.
Okay, to get our brains warmed up, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. This one comes from research made famous by the Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. So take a second. A bat and a ball cost $1.10. The bat is $1 more than the ball. How much is the ball? What's that first answer that just pops right into your head?
If you're like pretty much everyone else, that number, 10 cents, it just appeared, right? Almost instantly. And it feels right, doesn't it? It's simple, it's clean, it just feels like it fits.
But hold on. If we actually slow down and do the math, a completely different picture emerges. See, if the ball was 10 cents, the bat would be $1 more, which is $1.10. Add those together and you get $1.20. That's not right. The correct answer is actually 5 cents for the ball, which makes the bat $1.05.
That little puzzle is the perfect demonstration of the two very different ways our minds work. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the theory behind this, look at how it applies to the traditional design process, see how our intuition creates this amazing shortcut, and finally, check out how this all plays out in the real world.
Right, so that bat and ball problem, it's a classic example of what Daniel Kahneman calls the dual system theory of human thinking. And the big idea here is that our brain has two totally different ways of operating.
And the paper we're digging into today takes this really powerful psychological model and applies it directly to the creative process of design. The whole argument is that if you can understand these two systems, you can really start to understand how we create things. Now, to make this super easy to remember, let's think of these two systems as two different characters living in your head. You've got this fast, impulsive artist, and then you've got this slow, really careful engineer. So, system one, that's our artist. That's the part of your brain that gave you that instant 10 cents answer. It's automatic, it's effortless, it just works on gut feelings and associations. But system two, our engineer, that's the one you had to wake up to, actually do the math, and find the correct 5-cent answer. It's slow, it's deliberate, and it follows the rules. And this right here is a perfect illustration of just how powerful system one is. Your intuitive brain, your artist, it just automatically sees those perspective lines and screams, that guy on the left is bigger. And even when your logical system two, the engineer, knows for a fact that they're identical, you can't not see the illusion. It just goes to show you system one is always on. Okay, so what in the world does this have to do with design? Well, traditionally, we think of design as a very methodical, very deliberate system two kind of activity. It's all about slow, careful problem solving. There's this well-known model in design called function, behavior, structure, or FBS for short, and it lays out this very logical, step-by-step path. First, you figure out the purpose. That's the function. Then you decide how it should act. That's its behavior. And finally, you design what it actually looks like, the structure. It's like the perfect example of a pure System 2 engineering approach. But as this paper argues, that's just not the whole story. Because anyone who's ever made anything knows that sometimes an idea just appears, right? Out of nowhere. It's a flash of insight. And it turns out, actual studies totally back this up. Researchers have watched designers work, and they don't always follow that neat, slow, logical path. Instead, they often leap almost immediately from here's the problem to here's a possible solution. And this visualizes the paper's big idea perfectly. It's proposing that we add a new path to that old model, a direct shortcut, a leap from function straight to structure. This is what they call the intuitive leap, and it's powered by our fast associative system 1, our inner artist, which connects a problem to a solution based on all of our past experiences. So what does this dance between the fast artist and the slow engineer actually look like in the real world? Well, it can lead to some absolutely brilliant breakthroughs, but it's got a dark side too. It's something called design fixation. This is what happens when our fast system 1 jumps on an initial idea and our kind of lazy system 2 doesn't bother to challenge it. We basically fall in love with our first idea and get completely stuck, totally blind to any other, maybe better alternatives. And this is exactly how our thinking gets trapped. We make that fast, intuitive leap from the problem to a solution, and then we just stay there. We get stuck in this loop, just endlessly refining and polishing that one single concept instead of exploring brand new possibilities.
But hey, it's not just a trap to avoid. This whole dynamic is something we can actually learn to control. Once we're aware of these two systems, we can start to design processes that use the strengths of both our fast intuition and our slow analysis.
Brainstorming is the perfect example of this. The first phase, that is pure system one. You generate as many ideas as you possibly can, no matter how wild. And there is zero judgment. You just let that associative artist run completely free. It's only later that you bring in system two, the careful engineer, to analyze, combine, and refine those initial sparks into something that could actually work.
So, here's the bottom line. The crucial point is this. Really effective creative thinking isn't about being purely intuitive or purely analytical. It's about understanding these two systems inside our own heads and learning how to make them dance together. The real skill is knowing when to let your artist go wild and when to call in the engineer to check the math.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The next time you're facing a challenge, whether it's at work or just in your life, think about this. How can you do a better job of harnessing both your fast, intuitive artist and your slow, deliberate engineer to come up with the best possible solution?